The NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines.
And welcome back to the NFL Today, where Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL, takes you first on the field. The Dolphins and Ravens are about to do battle. So let's go to Baltimore, where Greg Gumbel and Dan Dierdorf are standing by. Gentlemen.
JB, the Dolphins have been the ultimate road warriors this season, winning 4 out of 4 away from home. But today they're up against a Ravens team that's just as tough when playing before the home crowd.
They out here wolfing, let them wolf. On the bottom line, somebody got to get knocked out. Somebody got to get knocked out. Repeat after me. One heart. One heart. One mind. One mind. One spirit. One spirit. It's together. It's together. We do all things. 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 Let's do what we do best. Let's go, man. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
And with that, hi everyone, and welcome to Baltimore. Along with my Hall of Fame partner, Dan Dierdorf, I'm Greg Gumbel. This matchup of two teams, one of which is very comfortable while playing on the road, the other really comfortable playing here at home. Now, in the AFC East, the Dolphins have a perfect road record, hope to stay in the hunt as they chase the Patriots and the Jets. In the AFC North, the Ravens and Steelers are tied for the lead, and Baltimore owns a perfect 3-0 record here at home. And what that translates to, Dan, in plain English, is something's got to give today.
Yeah, really, and I don't think the fact that the Dolphins can't win at home or win on the road, that doesn't come into play today. What really more important is they've got 3 losses to 3 really good football teams, and Tony Sparano said, look, if we want to be a good team, we have to beat a good team, and the Ravens are one of those teams in their way.
The Ravens start everything with their defense, and what that means is you go to the veteran All-Pro Ray Lewis leading the way.
Well, you know, Ray Lewis is in his 15th season. I know he's 35, and he doesn't cover as much ground as he used to when he was younger, but he is still the rock that this team is built upon. They follow his passion and his work ethic. Now, this is not the dominating Raven defense that took this team to a Super Bowl 10 years ago. They do have some flaws. They don't defend the run quite as well as they used to. People have gotten through them in the air, and this is kind of a bounce-back game for them, Greg, because they gave up over 500 yards to a winless Buffalo team 2 weeks ago. Granted, they won the game, but that stung.
Now, these Ravens started the season 4-2 without one of the best defensive players in all of football. Their last time out, Ed Reed was back, and Baltimore is glad to have him back.
Yeah, really, and, you know, when you're on the physically unable to perform list, you're out for a minimum of 6 weeks. So, well, that is how long Ed was gone for 6 weeks. With the surgery he had on his hip during the offseason, a question mark how effective he was going to be, I think they've been answered.
Now, the Miami Dolphins feel they're in the midst of building something very good in Miami, and part of that building project is quarterback Chad Henne.
Well, today is just Chad's 21st start, so, you know, he's still growing. He's still learning on the job. You talk to their offensive coordinator, Dan Henning. He is very pleased with the way Henne has played. He thinks he's getting better every week. But as you can see, they are far from explosive on offense. Next to last in 20-plus yard plays. Touchdowns, they're 29th. Points scored, they're 23rd. Lots of room for improvement.
Time for the Home Depot tools to victory.
Well, we've got some interesting passing combos here today. Chad Henne gets to throw to Brandon Marshall. He's their leading receiver, but as you can see, he's only gotten into the end zone one time. And Anquan Bolden has made Joe Flacco's day. Already they've hooked up for 5 touchdowns on the season. He brings a toughness to the wide receiver position. As we look to the tools to victory today, the Dolphins in the red zone far too many times have had to settle for field goals instead of touchdowns. If they want to go to the playoffs, that has to change. And the Ravens, again, I mentioned, they were embarrassed giving up that many yards to a winless Buffalo team. They need to clean it up.
And for more Home Depot player stats, log on to CBSSports.com. The Dolphins, tough to beat on the road. The Ravens, tough to beat at home. More from Baltimore when we continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Since 1982, the moments, the magic, and the madness have lived here. There's much more to come in the years ahead. The NCAA tournament on CBS. Then, now, always.
Don't miss Rules of Engagement. Monday, only CBS.
Carlos Dansby has been a terrific addition and a veteran shot in the arm for a young Dolphins defense this season. He will have in his sights the Ravens' all-purpose Pro Bowl running back Ray Rice today as we get ready for kickoff from Baltimore. It comes your way next here on CBS in Sony High Definition.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
This first Sunday in November has brought out the chilly weather. Temperature in the 50s. It is a beautiful sunshiny day in Baltimore, Maryland. On the Miami sideline, head coach Tony Sparano in his third year as head coach, and he was here, well, not at the crack of dawn, but shortly thereafter.
Well, Tony, there's so much less of him. He's lost 60 pounds. 8:30 this morning, he's out walking the steps. He does this home or away, where he gets to the ballpark early in the morning, and he has lost his weight the old-fashioned way. He's actually tried something called exercise and eating less. Imagine that.
On the other side, third-year head coach John Harbaugh of the Baltimore Ravens. The Dolphins won the toss. They defer. So Baltimore will get its hands on the football first. That is number 16, David Reed, deep to receive the kick, and we're underway in Baltimore. Reed drops it, picks it up at the 1. Tripped up, goes across the 20 to about the 23 or 24-yard line. Tim Dobbins with the tackle. We have on our hands today a battle of third-year quarterbacks. Joe Flacco runs the Baltimore offense. 10 touchdowns, 6 picks, but he doesn't throw them here at home. He hasn't thrown one here since November of last season.
Well, Joe Flacco, after a debacle in the second game of the season against Cincinnati, has really responded and played the best football that he's played as a Raven since.
From their own 24-yard line, Ray Rice, left side, maybe a yard just across the 25-yard line. Flacco has a talented offensive line centered by number 77, six-time Pro Bowler Matt Burke. And the Ravens this season added big play wide receiver Anquan Bolden. He has been that. 38 catches for more than 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. There is Anquan Bolden. Pickup of 2 by Rice, and it'll be 2nd and 8. Flacco, complete. Todd Heath, first down yardage across the 35, out to about the 36, maybe the 37-yard line, where Carlos Dansby made the stop. A look at Miami's 3-4 defense. Randy Starks is up front, along with Kendall Langford and Paul Soliai. Dolphins have recorded 17 sacks in their 7 games so far. Linebacker Cameron Wade leads the way with 6.5. And in the secondary, Sean Smith, a starter last season, regains his slot at cornerback. He's in his 2nd season out of Utah. Play fake. Flacco overthrows everybody.
Well, Joe Flacco that time expected Anquan Bolden to continue his route down the field. Instead, he curled it up and sat down in the zone. And again, though, Anquan Bolden, it's not very often that you see such a perfect marriage. One of the most physical receivers that has played this game in decades joins a football team where, you know, being physical is mandatory. And what a perfect fit from a temperament standpoint, a work ethic standpoint. Obviously, the production for Anquan Bolden fits this franchise perfectly.
Rice cuts it back to the 45. That'll bring up a 3rd and 2 as Cameron Wake made the stop.
Well, Ray Rice last year over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, and he really hasn't gotten going this season like he was last year. When we talked to Tony Sparano, the head coach of the Dolphins, he said, look, I don't want to have either Ray Rice or Willis McGahee beat us. I prefer to make Joe Flacco be the one to try to win this game.
Flacco will work from the shotgun on 3rd and 2. With time, over the middle, wide open. T.J. Houshmandzadeh inside the 35 to the 32 and a first down.
Well, that's only Houshmandzadeh's 10th catch of the year, and he's been a little unhappy and a little vocal about wishing that he was a bigger part of the offense. And you got the sense in talking to the Ravens before this game that they were going to make him a focal point early in this game. Now, the Dolphins made it easy for them by totally disregarding him as he sat down in the middle of the zone. Man, was he open.
And John Harbaugh says he's okay with the way Houshmandzadeh has been voicing his desire to be a bigger part of the offense. Flacco going deep to the end zone. It is tipped in the air, out of bounds. Pulled in by Derek Mason, but he was beyond the end zone line.
And that time, Joe Flacco elected to throw it right into double coverage. Davis and Clemens are both back here now, but you can see there's the safety help. When Clemens to the outside, Davis is able to recover and get in on it. Nice concentration, but not even close to being inbounds. But again, you got to question the chance of throwing into double coverage by Joe Flacco. That's not the perfect place to go.
Willis McGahee into the backfield. On 2nd and 10. Flacco to throw again. Setting up the screen. McGahee to the 20. To the 10. 5. Touchdown. First time all season the Baltimore Ravens have scored on their opening drive.
Well, if you love the game of football, there aren't many things prettier than a well-executed screen. And that's what that was by the Ravens. The timing of it was perfect. Look at Joe Flacco working to the right. He has no intention of going to the right. And then it needs a couple of blocks down the field, and Grubbs and Burke get out there and make their blocks. And then it's just Willis McGahee cutting back. And Sperano said, man, I don't want to get beat by Rice or McGahee. Not off to a good start with McGahee getting the 6.
Billy Cundiff's extra point is good. 32-yard touchdown reception. McGahee's first receiving touchdown of the season, his 5th overall, and Baltimore jumps to a 7-0 lead. The Baltimore Ravens set up that screen as nicely as any head coach would like, with great blocking at the point of attack and giving Willis McGahee enough room to do what running backs do.
A lot of time, big plays or improvisation. That was executed exactly the way the coaches draw it up in the playbook. Grubbs and Burke and Chester all out there making good blocks, and then you just saw the natural talent of Willis McGahee.
Nolan Carroll is deep for the Dolphins. Chance to return this one from the 2. Straight up the middle. And then down at about the 25-yard line. That'll bring the Miami offense on the field, headed up by Chad Henne, the quarterback for the Dolphins, completing 63.5% of his throws, 8 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions on the season. There has been a big outcry for Chad Henne to loosen things up, but we talked with offensive coordinator Dan Henning, who is happy with the way he's progressing.
He said he is doing what we're asking of him. Yes, could he be a little more aggressive? I think everybody wonders that. But he's not making the critical error very often.
Ronnie Brown straight ahead with running room. And a first down across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. The offensive line, Joe Berger, the middleman, on a line that'll have its hands full with a big and tough Ravens front today. And will Brandon Marshall stretch the field for Miami? Plenty of catches, plenty of receiving yards, but only 1 touchdown catch so far this season.
Boy, there's something the Dolphins wanted to see, a good start for Ronnie Brown. He really hasn't broken loose a great deal this year.
Penalty markers fly, our first of the day.
False start, number 77, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Referee John Perry says that call goes against Jake Long, the left tackle.
First overall pick in the draft a couple of years ago. And
where's he from?
The University of Michigan.
Okay.
And he is staking his claim to be the best left tackle in the game of football. Another good one here today, though, on the other side, Michael Orr.
On 1st and 15, Brown straight ahead again with more running room. and right at another first down marker. The Ravens' defensive front features the talented Haloti Ngata, 6'4", 350 pounds. He leads Baltimore with 4 quarterback sacks. Relentless perennial Pro Bowler Ray Lewis leads an outstanding core of linebackers, Suggs, McClain, and Johnson. Safety Ed Reed celebrated his return to the lineup last game with 2 interceptions in the overtime win over Buffalo. Kenny lost the handle, picked it up, fell forward across the 45 to the 46. He may have lost a yard on the play.
Yeah, he never got it in the exchange from Joe Berger, the center. And Chad got on this thing as quickly as possible. The snap looks like it hits him in the hands. Looked like Berger got it up where it was supposed to be, and for some reason, Chad not able to control it.
Appearing to get the first down is Ronnie Brown.
I don't think there's any question about that. That was a really good get-off there by the Miami offensive line. And there was a confidence for Tony Sperano's club coming into this game that they could run the ball on the Ravens. This Ravens defense used to be an impenetrable wall when it came to rushing the football. You never saw anybody get over 100 yards. Well, they've been giving up an average of 110 yards a game so far this season. Out of character for the guys in purple.
Once again, this is Brown, and Brown across midfield to the Baltimore 49. We get our first NFL Today update with James Brown in New York.
Hey, Greg and Dan, Coach Cowher said that Cleveland would provide a tough opponent, be a tough opponent. That they do after a New England fumble on the kickoff. Peyton Hillis with a 2-yard touchdown run. Cleveland is up 10-0 early in the first period of play. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
All right, JB, thank you.
Well, everybody here knows who Peyton Hillis is. He ran for over 140 yards against the Ravens in it was a loss by Cleveland.
Ronnie Brown trying to turn the corner and cannot. Tripped up on the near side by Fabian Washington, the cornerback. 6 offensive plays by the Miami Dolphins, all of them on the ground so far.
As we look at Fabian Washington there, here's a guy that's really looking for some redemption. 2 weeks ago, he got benched because he got torched by Lee Evans of the Buffalo Bills, and he has really vowed to bounce back this game. Came up and made a nice run support tackle there. He's been playing good football all year and really basically just had the one bad game against Buffalo.
3rd and 5. Kenny. Crossing pattern, got his man first down inside the 40. That's Brian Hartline. First down for the Dolphins.
Well, it's critical for the Dolphins that Brian Hartline be a guy who shows up and gets open, because Devon Bess and Brandon Marshall are going to get the bulk of the coverage. And as you can see right there, it's just single man coverage. And Chris Carr not able to keep up with Hartline as he tries to chase him across the field. Brian Hartline needs to be a big part of this Miami passing game.
Ricky Williams makes his first appearance of the day in the Miami backfield as Henny back to throw again. On the move now and slides down at the 35. James Brown has more good stuff for us back in New York. JB.
Hey, Greg and Dan, you know the Lions have been playing tough ball all along. Opening drive, take a look here. Matthew Stafford hooking up 10-yard strikes to the tight end, Brandon Pettigrew, capping an 11-play, 80-yard drive after an 0-4 start. Detroit has won 2 of the last 3. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, thank you.
Well, the one thing we know about teams like Detroit and Cleveland, we know they start well. Can they finish?
7-0 Baltimore here, coming up on 6:45 to play in the first. Quick pass to Devon Bess. No running room for him as he's lassoed at the 33-yard line.
And again, that'll be a recurring theme, I think, for Miami, trying to get it. They've got 2 guys in Devon Bess and Brandon Marshall that are so good after they catch the football. I mean, Devon Bess looks like a running back. Brandon Marshall just looks like what he is, a giant wide receiver that's looking to run somebody over.
Crowd to its feet on 3rd and 7. The Dolphins 2 out of 2 on 3rd down on this drive. Good protection for Henny. Over the middle, caught inside the 20 to 15-yard line by Brandon Marshall, and that's a first down for Miami.
Oh, man, how close did Ray Lewis come to hitting this ball? And Chad Henne has to get it over Ray Lewis and down in front of the safety. And Ray Lewis, his momentum just carried him right by. Ray sees this coming. He elevates for it, and it's just back to the inside. That was a spectacular throw by Chad Henne. I mean, that was really good.
First down, Miami at the Baltimore 12. Ronnie Brown, right side, 5, touchdown. The Dolphins with the kind of answer you want to the Baltimore Ravens opening touchdown drive.
Well, Tony Sparano said it best, this new version of the Miami Dolphins, we are nobody's homecoming team anymore.
Yeah, Tony's kind of tired of being congratulated on close losses, isn't he?
That's exactly right, and he's right. Until they beat a team of this caliber, they're just in the running. Nothing more than that.
Carpenter, extra point, ties it. 5:23 to play in the first quarter. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Ronnie Brown, 12 yards to pay dirt. We're tied at 7 in Baltimore.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Wells Fargo Advisors. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Back in Baltimore, the Dolphins answer a 76-yard touchdown drive by the Ravens with a 75-yard drive of their own.
And Ronnie Brown carries the ball half a dozen times for over 7 yards a carry.
Ball bounces and is caught up front by Jalen Carmelo. And Carmelo across the 30 up to about the 35-yard line. That's where the Ravens will start on offense after a timeout. Time to remind everyone, Veterans Day celebrations all over the place. In honor of Veterans Day, text USO to 27722 to donate $10 to the USO. Help the USO lift the spirits of troops and families around the world. And we, of course, are all thinking of our troops both home and abroad.
Thank you.
From the 36-yard line, Flacco and the Baltimore offense. Dodging and weaving to about the 38, where Randy Starks makes the stop. These two teams, Dan, a lot alike. Built on defense. Their defense keeps them in every football game.
Well, they're both very physical teams. The Ravens have been that way for a long time. The Dolphins are trying to morph into that, and ever since Bill Parcells came a couple of years ago, even though he's not there full time, that's his image.
Pass out here to the near side to Derek Mason, and Mason breaks free for a first down out to midfield. Chris Clemens there to make the tackle.
Well, again, you can't get a more high percentage throw than that, but Derek Mason, not a real big guy over the years in terms of being physical, but at 36 years old, still has some juice in his tank. Flacco threw that thing a little high, but Mason turned it into a completion.
Back to Rice, and Rice with a hole on the left side. Inside the 40 to the 38, and another first down. Once again, James Brown in New York.
Hey, Greg and Dan, Phillip Rivers playing at MVP level, goes up top. Take a look at this one. Boy, does he haul this one up top. Hey, Greg, why would you do this to me? Sheyi Ajira-Tutu is on the receiving end of that 55-yard bomb. It is all tied at 7-all. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, JB. You know, with all of the weapons that he's had taken away from him from time to time, Phillip Rivers is still one of the exceptional quarterbacks in the National Football League.
He's one of the 5 best. I don't think anybody would really give that much of an argument. And Ray Rice, again, slams it up in there, but nothing going on. That time Miami just completely shut it down.
2nd and 10 for Flacco and the Ravens. Rice. Maybe a yard. Randy Starks with yet another stop in the middle of the line.
This is a new defensive unit for the Miami Dolphins. They had 8 new starters on opening day, an entirely new linebacking core, and they are much more physical at the line of scrimmage. And Randy Starks right there, you see how he just got inside Ben Grubbs with a good inside move. This is a guy you don't hear a lot about. You don't see him on anybody's mid-season All-Pro team, but Randy Starks playing grade A football for Miami.
3rd and 10. Flacco, near side of the field, and it is caught inside the 30-yard line by Mason, and that'll be, let's see where they spot the football. Left for the first down.
Man, does a quarterback love a receiver that comes back for the football. And that's what Derek Mason does here. He must do a comeback here, a good 4 or 5 yards running back to make sure that he stays in front of Vontae Davis to make this catch. You know, Derek Mason at this age, to be this productive, this nimble, that quick in and out of breaks, it is really something to see.
Nicely timed ball thrown by Flacco, too. First down. Play fake to McGee. Flacco over the middle to the end zone. It is caught. Incomplete out of the end zone. Anquan Bolden grabbed the ball. The officials say didn't come down in time.
Yeah, when you followed the trajectory of that ball and you looked at where Bolden was, you're going, wow, is he going to be able to catch this and still stay in bounds? He's working against Sean Smith. Where's possession? There's possession. That's 1 foot, and even that foot appears to be on the line. As you can see, it wasn't even close to being in bounds.
2nd and 10.
Again, though, Anquan Bolden, what a fit for the Baltimore Ravens.
Rice and McGee in the backfield, and we get a whistle. And we get a challenge flag thrown by John Harbaugh.
Well, unless I really didn't see something.
Prior to the snap, Baltimore challenged the previous play of an incomplete pass versus a catch and a score. We'll review the play.
Well, unless Coach Harbaugh is getting some information that we're not privy to.
I've missed stuff before. Let's look again. Where does it hit the hands and possession? I don't think that left foot was down when he got possession. John.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
After reviewing the play stands as called. Baltimore was charged with their first team timeout.
Well, John Barry did not take very long under the hood at all to confirm that call on the field.
Well, 2 things here to question. First of all, the left foot in possession. The left foot may have already been off the ground when he got possession, and then not only that, it looked like the right foot actually touched the back line. So, you know, I'm not sure Anquan Bolden got either foot in play.
Cost Baltimore a timeout. Flacco. Screen to the left side. This is Todd Heap. Still on his feet to the 15. Todd Heap, Baltimore's all-time leader in receptions and touchdown catches.
And crowd favorite here at M&T Stadium. Every time Todd touches the football, this crowd just can't wait to go into that chorus of Heap you hear in the background. And Todd's had a variety of nagging injuries this year. The first time all year he hasn't been on the injury report. And as you can see, both of these offenses today are getting lots of different people involved.
Flacco is throwing for 99 yards on the day. Straight ahead, Ray Rice. Stacked up at about the line of scrimmage. You may have gotten half a yard or so. And we are in the final 50 seconds of the first quarter.
Well, Ray tried to bounce that to the outside. He wanted to go off left guard, and there was absolutely nothing there at all. And then when he bounced to the outside, Tony McDaniel was waiting for him because he honored his responsibility and kept the edge.
Ray Rice's first Pro Bowl appearance last year off of a season in which he rushed for 1,339 yards.
And really, Greg, that's a great number, but he averaged 5.3 yards a carry. That is a sweet number.
Flacco pulls it down, straight ahead, 10, diving to about the 7. And with that, we'll come to the end of the first quarter.
No hook slide for Joe, though. He was digging for the first down yardage.
Not that time, anyway. We've come to the end of one here in Baltimore. It's a 7-7 game, and we're coming back after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
As we're back to start the second quarter, the Ravens have converted a 3rd and 2 and a 3rd and 10 today, but on 3rd and 1 on the year, that's not very good, Dan.
No, to be less than 50% is really unacceptable. As an offensive line, you look at that and you just kind of cringe because you're thinking to yourself, well, that's our fault that we're not rooting them out of there any better than that.
Line of scrimmage is the 7.
Percentage, Eddie.
Carlos Dansby, the first to hit it.
Well, there haven't been many free agent pickups that have worked out for teams much better than Carlos Dansby, setting up shop in Miami, coming from Arizona. Look at him read the gap, shoot the gap, and make the wrap-up tackle. He is the whole package, an outstanding leader, a smart player. He's their second leading tackler. And he started all 6 of his years out with the Arizona Cardinals. He's the real deal.
Billy Cunda from 26 yards out for the lead for Baltimore. On its way and good. 14-13 remaining in the first half, and the Ravens grab a 3-point lead. What an outstanding afternoon in Baltimore. 10-7 Ravens, 14 minutes, 13 seconds, and yes, purple is the order of the day.
The seats are purple. Everything about this stadium is purple, and it is one of the better home field advantages in the NFL. It's a pretty breezy day today. The wind is really swirling on the field, but the flags up top, they are starched.
That little oddity of the Miami Dolphins, winners every time they've hit the road, losers every time they've played at home so far this season. And this is Miami's 3rd straight game against an AFC North opponent. They are 1-1 coming into this one against the AFC North. Nolan Carroll muffs it in the end zone. It's picked up back there by Lex Hilliard.
Did that ball cross the goal line?
They're going to rule it a touchback.
That was awfully close.
Ravens want a safety. John Perry's going to talk about it.
The ball was muffed in the end zone and never left the end zone. Therefore, it is a touchback.
That's the second part of that was the key, that it never left the end zone. Right through the arms. And right, you can say right now that, John Perry, you see him in the back of that picture, he was right there in a position to determine that the football, after Carroll muffed it, did not cross the goal line.
Lex Hilliard was outside the end zone, but John Perry's ruling is the ball never left the end zone. It comes out to the 20, first down, Miami. To the 21. Hey, a reminder for you. Tonight, the Amazing Race teams invade Russia, join the circus, and play a game of bowling that'll knock you out. New Amazing Race tonight after 60 minutes. Only CBS.
What was that game they were playing where they were actually throwing bats or something? That was
what in the world would make you think I'd have any idea to the answer to that question?
I don't know. Good point.
Henny throws, sideline. His receiver fell down. It's intercepted. Picked off by number 21, Ladarius Webb. Webb to the 15, 10, 5, and out of bounds. It'll be first and goal, Baltimore.
Well, Ladarius Webb doing his very best Ed Reed imitation. Not only by making the interception, but then the run after the catch. Henny's on the rollout, going to try to throw a deep out, and that is just a catch. Yes, Hartline fell, but Webb really jumped the route. He saw that coming and had lots of time to react on the football. And Brian Hartline lost his footing, and now Ladarius Webb shows a little open field skill.
At best, Hartline lost any chance of breaking that up.
Again, you got to give Webb credit, though. He was all over that coverage, and he made a great break on the ball.
8 interceptions thrown on the season by Henny. And Gahey doesn't get much going straight ahead.
It is a struggle right now for this Baltimore offensive line to get much going at the line of scrimmage in terms of movement against the Miami front. And this is a young offensive line that's got a lot of promise. Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays in his 3rd year. He would like to see a little more action up front by the guys.
Second and goal. Flacco going to throw it. No! Back down at his 16-yard line. And Paul Soliai, number 96, with his first sack of the season.
Well, you don't count on your nose tackle as being a real sackmeister. And this was a case where Joe obviously had time to throw the ball. He pumps it all the way and then eats it. And I guess for some reason he was so intent looking downfield, he didn't see the rather sizable 355-pound Soliai right in front of him. How you miss a moving billboard like that, I don't have any idea.
I think he just thought it was an eclipse.
Might have been.
15-yard line, 3rd and goal. And we get a whistle.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Flacco didn't beat the clock, and this will back them up to the 20-yard line.
Well, after the interception by Webb, this has been a pretty poor collection of plays run by the Ravens offense as they just continue to go backwards. That's Jim Zorn, who's now the quarterback coach, and Joe Flacco's mentor. Behind him there, you see Mark Bulger, free agent acquisition this year, who really has been a lot of help.
And look at the play clock. Down to 3, 2, 1, and Flacco has to call a timeout.
And that's our 2nd timeout that they've used this half.
Communication has not been up to par so far for the Ravens. On this drive, the Ravens have had minus 16 yards in 2 plays, and you've got to come away with some points here, or else there's some blame to be laid somewhere. 3rd and goal from the 20. Flacco down at the 20-yard line.
Well, and only a 3-man rush for the Dolphins as they dropped 8 into coverage. And, of course, when you drop 8 into coverage in a condensed area of the field like the red zone right there, Joe Flacco said, look, I'm not going to be foolish with it. Let's at least get a field goal attempt out of this. But, man, it's disappointing to have your quarterback end up on the ground with only 3 guys working against 5.
Cundiff was good from 26 earlier. This is from 38. Fumble the snap. Down at the 30-yard line. And everything went right on that series for the Miami Dolphins.
Well, that's looking at the glass being half full. If you look at it from Baltimore's standpoint, you're going, what else could have possibly gone wrong? Penalties, negative plays, a mishandled snap, sacks. I mean, this little mini drive of ours had everything going on.
Sam Cook, the punter, was the holder. And John Harbaugh gives one of those, oh no. And you see Cam Cameron.
Little more demonstrative.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kayak.com. Search one and done. The new Windows Phone. It's time for a phone to save us from our phones. And by Macy's.
Well, after the Chad Henne interception, the best possible result for the Miami Dolphins. They get the ball back. No extra points put on the board by the Ravens. And Henne throws to the other side. That's complete, but it's going to go nowhere. Brandon Marshall loses about 5 yards on the play.
Well, we saw a beautiful screen executed by the Ravens that resulted in a Willis McGahee touchdown. And now that was a screen to the same side of the field being run by the Dolphins with grossly different results. As poor Brandon Marshall, he was dodging people behind his own line of scrimmage.
On 2nd and 14. Kenny. That one is complete to the tight end, Fasano. Fasano across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
Well, it's a nice catch by Fasano, and it's also good coverage by Ray Lewis, who had the tight end as his responsibility. And he puts it right out in front of him, but you can see Ray Lewis running with him stride for stride. He had Chris Carr backing him up to the backside, but the old man still ran with the younger Fasano stride for stride.
Henne now looking at a 3rd and 8. Under pressure and goes down at the 23. Terrell Suggs.
We were talking to Chad Henne, and he said, you know, the Baltimore defense doesn't do a lot of overload blitzes like the Jets do. They don't do that much of it anymore. Well, they're doing one here. You can see to the top of the screen, they got 4 guys rushing to that side of the center, and Suggs is able to get in there. He's able to get by Vernon Carey, who slid all the way over from right tackle.
Darius Webb takes this punt at the 30-yard line. And is out of bounds close to the 40. 9:08 to play in the first half. It's a 3-point Ravens lead. You can build your own football dynasty and compete year-round with CBSSports.com franchise football. Find out more at CBSSports.com/franchise. Injured Dolphins Tyrone Culver walking off the field slowly. Defensive back out of Fresno State.
Yeah, special teams player for the Dolphins, and something's wrong with one of his legs. He was reluctant to get up and put weight on it, but we'll pass along an injury report as soon as we get one.
Meanwhile, for the Ravens, first down from their own 40. 9:08 to play, a 3-point lead for Baltimore. Ray Rice diving out to about the 44-yard line. Pick up a 4, and it'll be 2nd and 6.
Boy, Ray Rice has a burst to him, doesn't he? I mean, just, you know, you look at the 2 backs on the other side and big guys and Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams and the power they bring. But Ray Rice, when he gets the ball under his arm, you can tell even from clear up here that he's got a difference to him. He's got a quickness, a lateral burst that's fun to watch.
Flacco going to give it to him again. How about that little move in the backfield? Breaks him loose and crosses midfield for a first down. Channing Crowder with the tackle.
That was reminiscent of a little Barry Sanders action there. That little quick little juke to the outside, whoop whoop, right there. He puts it on Carlos Dansby, and then Dansby, that actually did a nice job of setting up one of his teammates to make a block.
Coming up on 8 minutes to play in the first half. Either team positive yardage here in the second quarter. This time pulled down after about a 2-yard gain. Gives us a chance to check in once again with James Brown.
Hey, Greg and Dan, low-scoring ball game between Carolina and the Saints after a Jonathan Stewart fumble. Drew Brees drills this one to Jeremy Shockey. Hit hard there on that 7-yard pass play. Writhing in pain, but he is okay. Saints up by 4. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf.
Thank you, JB. 2nd and 7 now. Dante Stallworth to the near side of the field. Flacco going to release in the flat to Rice. And Rice with a first down and then some to the 35-yard line. Another Baltimore first down, courtesy of Ray Rice.
But of course, Ray Rice, such a gifted receiver as well. And able, he's got such good moves to get open. He's so comfortable out in space. And then, of course, in the open field, Vontae Davis gets nothing but air. Look at this right here. Davis barely gets a piece of his shin, and Carlos Dansby has to come all the way across, fights off Todd Heap, and gets in and makes the tackle. Nice work by Dansby, but nice running by Rice.
Play fake to Rice. Flacco with time, throws to the far side to McGahee. McGahee, 30. Sideline and out of bounds for a first down at about the 23 or the 24-yard line.
Well, nice job by Flacco at checking down because he wanted to go to Dante Stallworth, who's seeing his first action of the season. He had a broken left foot. He's missed all the games up to this point, and John Harbaugh wants to work him back into the game slowly. He said maybe 10, 15 plays today, but he was the primary target there. McGahee was the check down by Flacco.
On the first down call, we'll pick up a lead at 2nd and 2. And here's McGahee. McGahee to the 15. To the 13. That is a first down for the Ravens.
Well, there's some good blocking by the guys up front here for the Ravens. Great double team right at the point of attack, and then a good block by McClain, the fullback. But Matt Burke, Ben Grubbs get a nice double team, and that seals the edge. That seals, not the edge, but it seals the hole, and that gives a nice option there to Willis McGahee just to head it straight up the field.
So now it's McGahee and McClain from the 13. To the 10. Tony McDaniel, number 78, coming in from behind to make the stop as we approach 5 minutes to play in the half.
I saw that graphic we just put up on the screen. That is a lot of 10-yard plus plays in one half of football. Cam Cameron there is dialing it up for the Ravens. And both of these teams have at various times been able to spring their running backs up into some pretty good holes.
Cam Cameron, the one-time Miami Dolphins head coach of these Dolphins back in 07. 2nd and 7.
They didn't have such a good year that year. They did.
Flacco to throw. Stepping up, throwing, end zone, incomplete. Penalty marker flies. Pass intended for Derek Mason. He was covered by Vontae Davis.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 85. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, the aged one gets called for the offensive interference. This is the old and the young, because Vontae Davis is one of the best young corners in the game. And you can see right there, it was Vontae Davis's body action more than anything, I think, that drew the flag. I mean, yes, there was contact in the end zone, but Mason, I've seen a lot.
I don't know if that qualifies as a good old-fashioned shove.
No, I've seen a lot less. It was the fact that Davis fell away, I think, through the flag.
Here's Ray Rice with running room to the 10, inside the 10 to about the 8.
I mean, when you looked at that, Greg, didn't you get the impression that Davis looked like he had been shoved? And that, of course, is what the official sees.
What was it Flip Wilson used to say? A lie is as good as the truth if you can get someone to believe it.
All All right, yeah, let's look at it again here. I mean, watch Davis's reaction here. You see how he falls back and he takes a step or two backward. It looked like he really got shoved, when from that angle it didn't appear that he was shoved.
And we get a little movement.
Todd Heap, he got a step across the line.
The last trip to the red zone.
False start. Number 86, offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Last red zone trip by the Ravens didn't turn out so good.
No, they'd like to forget it. They kept going backwards and then a mishandled snap. Pretty obvious right there. Yeah.
And that's what's happened in the red zone so far for Baltimore.
Well, getting into these type of situations isn't a big plus. And they're just breaking the huddle and they're down to 5 seconds. Yeah.
Flacco needs the snap now. He got it. Running out of time and goes down at the 31-yard line.
Cameron Wake, I think.
It has been nothing but negative yardage for the Ravens on these trips into the red zone today.
Well, the guy who leads the Dolphins with 6.5, I think now has 7.5 sacks. He's at the top of your screen there working against Marshall Yanda, the right tackle, and that is just a power rush to the inside. Yeah, and John Harbaugh, he could see that one coming. Cameron Wake, he's a speed guy, but he can go to the power game if he wants to.
Good hold this time, and Pundit from 39 yards out is good. 2:55 to play in the first half. Baltimore's lead is 13-7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, with 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores.
Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our CBS Sports crew back in Baltimore. 2:55 to play in the first half. Baltimore with a 13-7 lead, and that is Nolan Carroll standing a yard deep in his end zone for the upcoming kick.
Of course, he muffed the kickoff earlier. I'm sure Carroll is thinking to himself, I need to look this one all the way in.
And then some.
Again, the wind blew the ball off the tee. It is a blustery day in Baltimore. And look at that red zone. Less than 1 yard per play. And then factor in 20 penalty yards and a couple sacks. That's pretty miserable.
Doesn't make for a happy coach on Monday morning, though. Or Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Carroll will not run this one out.
He looked that one in.
And so the Dolphins will start at their own 20-yard line, and the new NFL.com mobile apps are here. No matter where you are, you can stay in the game all season long. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Despite each team's opening drive touchdown, Dan, this game has really evolved into the kind of game we expected, hasn't it?
Yeah, we thought it was going to be, every yard was going to be contested. 2 very physical football teams, 2 good defenses, and 2, not real explosive offenses.
Kennedy with time, throws. That one is complete. Hartline with a blocker in front of it. Diving across midfield to the 49 of the Baltimore Ravens, and a big first down on the first play.
Well, I mentioned earlier in the first quarter how much this Miami passing game needs Brian Hartline to be a part of it. And he's the guy that gets away with a little shove right there as he shoves off from Fabian Washington. And then Fasano downfield, giving him a little block out front, but then Ed Reed came in and whack.
Ronnie Brown for maybe a yard. Maybe 2. It'll be 2nd and 8, and we are going to get the 2-minute warning upcoming.
And Miami does have all 3 of their timeouts left.
2 minutes to play in the first half. 13-7 Baltimore. We're back right after this. The line's on the quarterbacks with 2 minutes to play here in the first half. As Dan mentioned, Miami with all 3 of its timeouts remaining. 2nd and 8 from the Baltimore 47. Straight drop for Henny. With time. Far side of the field. Got Devon Bess, and he's out of bounds just short of the 35-yard line.
On Devon Bess, what a nice break he makes out of that cut right there. It put Fabian Washington on the ground. Again, you know, working in Washington, who's turned completely around, and then he ends up really staggering trying to get back into it. Devon Bess, only his third year in the league. This guy is becoming one heck of a fine young football player.
What did he say? He doesn't get all googly-eyed when he sees Ray Lewis because he's seen him before.
Yeah, the autographs, the autograph collecting is over.
On first down, little short pop over the middle, complete to Ronnie Brown. Brown inside the 25 to about the 24. Clock continues to move at a minute 45.
A couple nice looking plays here designed by Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator. Of course, he has been to a few rodeos, hasn't he? And again, this is a good young offensive line, a developing quarterback, and a lot of experience at the running back position with Brown and Williams.
Miami even up with runs and passes at 10. First down from the 24. Kenny with time. Over the middle. It's complete to Marshall. And Marshall fights his way inside the 20. Lost the football. Appears to have been covered by Miami.
Well, you know, defenses will go after the football when Brandon Marshall has made a reception because they know he is not going to the ground gently. Brandon Marshall lives to find himself a defensive back to try to run over. In this case, it's Ray Lewis, but they're going to go after the football because he is a guy who will try to keep his feet longer than most receivers.
Watch him reach back and grab this one away from the clutches of Ray Lewis.
Well, it was on the ground. It was there to be had, and Brandon Marshall got back in and got his own fumble.
First time out used by the Miami Dolphins. Hey, you know who's standing by in the studio for the Spread Halftime Report. JB, Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Don't blame them if you don't get all the scores and highlights. It's coming up next on the Spread Halftime Report. Just inside the 20-yard line. 2nd and 5 for Henny and the Dolphins. Straight drop, good protection. The pass is just out of the reach of Fasano, the tight end. Stops the clock with 1:02 to play in the first half.
Amazingly, that was Chad Henne's first real incomplete pass. He was 9 of 10. The one he didn't complete before was an interception. That was the first conventional incomplete pass of the game by Chad Henne.
There you see the frustration that Miami Dolphins fans have been expressing. They've been settling for end zone with any frequency. 3rd and 5. From the shotgun, Henny throws complete to the 10-yard line, Hartline, and that looks like it'll be a 1st and goal.
And again, you can see that Miami's turning to Brian Hartline because the Ravens are effectively working so hard to take away Bess and Marshall.
Clock continues to move. Henny to the near side, Brown. And Brown wrestled down at the 9 by DeJuan Landry. And with the timeout, clock stopped at 35 seconds to play, and we'll come back. 2nd and goal for Miami. 35 seconds to play, each team with 1 timeout remaining. Henny, little pump fake, throws to the far corner. That's complete. Diving for the end zone is Devon Bess, and he is just short. Clock continues to move, and Henny uses his 3rd and final timeout.
Well, this again, fantastic pass protection for Chad Henne. Look at that. There is nobody anywhere near him, and working against this Baltimore zone, Bess has all sorts of room. You wouldn't think he'd be that wide open with them dropping this many people back into coverage. Unfortunately, the umbrella dropped too far. They were all back in the end zone, and I'm sure Henne was delighted when he looked over here to find Bess so wide open. Again, Fabian Washington coming up late on the coverage gave him way too much room.
So now Miami is out of timeouts. 3rd and goal at the 1. Certainly enough time to run 2 plays.
And running the football, you got plenty of time to do that if you so choose.
Ronnie Brown, Lou Polite in the backfield. Play fake, throwing, tipped incomplete.
Oh, and Fasano was open. Anthony Fasano was open. He's going to fake the block right there, and then he releases. And it's hard to see. Initially, you thought maybe Jamal McClain got a hand on the ball, but he did not.
No, just overthrown.
No. That ball just came out really awkwardly off the hand of Chad Henne.
Now from 19 yards out, Carpenter. It's good.
That was an opportunity lost. And Richie Incognito backs out of there. And look at Tony Sperano. Get over here. We don't want any personal fouls. We don't want any late flags.
Dan Carpenter has now made 14 straight field goals, and he's getting a lot of practice.
But that was a missed opportunity for Miami to score a touchdown.
A reminder for you, tomorrow on CBS, murder, lies, corruption, push Hawaii 5-0 to the edge. Don't miss a new episode of TV's #1 new drama tomorrow, only CBS. From the 1-yard line, 4th and goal, the right call for field goal, Dan?
Oh, yeah, I think so. In a game like this on the road, I don't have any argument with them going for the for the field goal at all. And it wasn't 6 inches either. It was a good long yard. And again, Fasano pretty wide open. And I don't, again, now give McClain credit. He was sitting underneath that. So Henne feels he's got to drop it in over the top of number 53 there, McClain. And the ball just comes out funky.
That ball just developed a wobble on the way, didn't it?
It really did. He almost tried to like shot put it over the top of Jamal McClain. And it just didn't work. But that was a missed chance from Red Zone TV.
A lot of frustration in the red zone on both sides today. This is David Reed. Across the 20 to about the 23 or 24-yard line. And Baltimore with 10 seconds on the clock and 1 timeout.
Well, this game being close at halftime, separated by only 3 points. Again, pretty much to form, I think.
5 red zone trips combined for these two teams today. They've come away with 1 touchdown and 3 field goals.
And 1 missed field goal because of a mishandled snap. And the Ravens are content to go into the locker room with a 3-point lead.
Defensive struggle as expected. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Ravens 13 and the Dolphins 10. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. In Baltimore at halftime, there is our halftime score. The Ravens leading the Miami Dolphins by a score of 13-10. Let's take a look now at the points of protection presented by Allstate. Protect the red zone, 5 combined trips, a touchdown, and 3 field goals. Got to protect Joe Flacco. He's been sacked 3 times, and both teams producing plays of 10-plus yards. Miami 8 of them, and Baltimore 10. As we welcome you back, Greg Gumbel, along with Dan Deerdorf. You know, we talk about the situation at halftime, and there's not a whole lot of blame to be placed around because both defenses have been pretty stout in the red zone. But if there's a team that's happy at halftime, I'd say it's Miami.
Yeah, they're only 3 points behind. They know they're playing a really good football team in the Ravens, who play so well at home. home here in Baltimore. You got to think that it's going to come down to somebody making a mistake, a turnover. We've only had one turnover so far in this game, and that was by the Dolphins, and it didn't cost them any points. Baltimore wasn't able to get anything done after that Henne interception. So you got to wonder who's going to blink here in the second half, because it's hard to imagine one of these teams, Greg, can run away and hide from the other.
Two good defenses. Are you surprised by the number of big yardage plays we've had?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And we've had some running backs find some huge creases, and all of a sudden they got 10 or 12.
Miami with their hands on the ball here. They deferred. You'll recall at the start of the game, that kick out of the end zone, and Miami will start from their own 20-yard line.
Well, let's take a look at a few of the bigger plays in the first half. Here's Miami right here, and take a look at this. Look at the hole going around the right side. Polite comes around and seals. Ronnie Brown just a stroll, and then this little screen pass, beautifully set up. You see the key block out front there by number 66, Ben Grubbs, and then it's Willis McGahee just showing some classy open field running, going back against the grain, and that's Baltimore's touchdown.
Miami starts with Ricky Williams in the backfield, and he is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage by Haloti Ngata. Haloti, how are you?
I think that's just like that's being absorbed. That's where Ronnie Brown just goes into the void and disappears. Ricky Williams, rather. I said Ronnie Brown. Ricky Williams. I mean, look, that man, Haloti Ngata, it is just hard to convey how big he is, how athletic he is. There's not a better down lineman right now in the game of football than Haloti Ngata, and Ricky Williams just found that out.
Kenny to throw on 2nd and 10. Steps up, throws down the sideline, and it is incomplete. Pass intended for Devon Best, and Josh Wilson, number 37, fourth-year back out of Maryland, was with him stride for stride. 3rd and 10.
Well, that's the kind of corner coverage that John Harbaugh is looking for from his DBs. I know Fabian Washington's been having a tough time, and Josh Wilson replaced him a couple weeks ago in that game against Buffalo, and that was textbook right there. And right now Wilson is playing that corner spot.
Kenny gonna run for it. Sliding down across the 25 to the 27-yard line.
And he saw Ray Lewis coming at him. And that is a motivation to get down. Right there, Chad Henne is looking right at 52, coming right there. And he actually slid right underneath it. That was and Tavares Gooden actually is the guy that got hit the hardest.
Yeah, Ray delivered a hit to his former Miami Hurricane buddy. Darius Webb drifting back for the kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 19-yard line. 13 minutes, 32 seconds to play. Miami stalls on offense to start this second half. Baltimore's turn when we come back. We began this game talking about what a great fit number 81, Anquan Bolden, is in this offense, but not yet so far today. He has yet to catch a pass.
Almost had a touchdown. John Harbaugh challenged it, but it was not to be, really close.
On first down, Flacco throws. That's complete. Ray Rice out of the backfield, across the 30 and out of bounds.
Well, you know, sometimes quarterbacks view checkdowns as the last resort, but when Ray Rice is that checkdown option, a lot of good things happen. And you see just a little play fake, and then he not only delivers the play fake, but then he's also savvy enough to come across the formation and become a target for Joe Flacco. And Ray Rice, what an upside. A lot of value there for a second-round draft pick.
12 and 15-yard receptions for Rice so far, and Flacco to throw again. Under pressure, far side of the field, off the fingertips of Anquan Bolden. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Joe has to pick himself up off the ground, and that ball sailed on him. Anquan Bolden is really, really open. And you can see Joe just not able to step into it, as Langford is just right there in his face. But look how open Anquan Bolden is, and the ball just At 6'1", even, he can't go up and get it.
Dan thought it was pretty funny when we were talking with Anquan yesterday. We have talked with quarterbacks who have some kind of a say in the offensive plays that are run and the game plan set up. We asked Joe if he has any. No, it's all Cam Campbell.
Yeah, Cam says, I'll learn to like it.
Flacco to throw again. Eludes the rush over the middle, complete to Rice, and Rice pulled down at the 45, but not before he gets a first down.
You know, Carlos Dansby does a pretty good job of being there. He's got the coverage on Ray Rice, but Rice just so quick and so elusive. And check that out. That ball thrown a little bit behind him, but he's able to get it with one hand. Be careful there, Ray, letting that ball float out in space like that. Guy like Dansby will knock it loose.
Here's Rice. And this time he's wrapped up by Chris Clemens, the safety.
Well, there's safety support. And not even your strong safety, your free safety, which Chris Clemens is. But as we've seen this season, it's really his first chance to be a full-time. He really is making things happen. Tony Sperano is very excited about his range, his ability to cover a lot of ground, and his, as we just saw there, good run support for a free safety.
Lost one on the play, 2nd and 11. Here come the Dolphins. The man is Rice out of the backfield with room to go. 30, 25, out of bounds, short of the 20-yard line. Sean Smith made the tackle.
Well, Greg, you said it. Here they come. And as the Dolphins know, if you're going to come on the blitz and you don't get there, there is a big void. And Ray Rice, with blitz recognition, just immediately turns and looks back to his quarterback, realizing there is nobody with coverage on Ray Rice. And great recognition by Flacco to get him the ball in a hurry.
Look at the advantage the Ravens have in yards after the catch. First down at the Miami 22. Flacco throws. That one is inside the 15-yard line and complete to Derek Mason.
Well, Greg, we've seen it a million times. The blitz is a wonderful thing when you end up trampling the quarterback because you send more people than they can block. But also, if the quarterback and the receiver are on a quick recognition, disaster is right around the corner.
2nd and 2. The give is to LeRon McClain. And that's to the 11. And a first down.
Well, again, this is no surprise that Ray Rice is do everything for the Ravens, whether it's running the ball, that time big hole off the left side, but as a receiver, he is really skilled. This guy looks like a young Marshall Faulk when you see him and the way he plays and his skill set in both running and receiving. He's the total package.
And racking up some yardage today.
Granted, not a real big package, but he is the total package.
He's on the sideline, McGahee in the backfield. McGahee. Nowhere to go. They have even lost a yard on that play. It'll be 2nd and 11. Carlos Dansby and Jeremiah Bell in on the stop.
Well, Carlos Dansby, again, we talked earlier about what a wonderful addition he has been to this football team in terms of what he brings. And that's just good recognition. You know, he had to make a decision, do I keep flowing or do I make my move and run upfield and shoot a gap? And he chose the right gap, came in on the backside. But if you come in on the backside, you got to make sure you got enough speed to get to the ball carrier. He did.
9.5 to play here in the third. Flacco to throw. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Derek Mason.
Well, Derek Mason just runs a little post pattern in the end zone. There he is on the outside, heads up, and here he comes. The nice stutter step right back to the inside, and he just totally fools Vontae Davis. That little stutter step had Davis convinced that he was going to go to the corner. Instead, he breaks inside to the post. And, you know, I guess a guy after 14 years learns a few things. Derek Mason.
Cundiff's extra point is good. 9:23 to play in the third quarter. Baltimore stretches its lead to 10. Joe Flacco with the touchdown pass.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Vicks NyQuil, multi-symptom cold relief for a great night's sleep. And by the new 2011 Ford F-150, built Ford tough.
Back in Baltimore, biggest lead of the day, 10 points. Baltimore leading the Dolphins 20-10. Joe Flacco, we mentioned it earlier, performs very well here at home. 2 touchdown passes today. Nolan Carroll is deep for the Dolphins. Fakunda's kick. So that one is into and out of the end zone, and when we come back, Miami back on offense, trying to get something started. They trail by 10. Derek Mason on the left, Channing Crowder on the right. Dan, do these guys know each other?
Yeah, well, Channing Crowder was talking to the media this week and talking about the receiving corps of Baltimore, and he couldn't think of Mason's name, and he referred to him as the old guy. And that, of course, got everybody going back and forth. And Mason said, hey, I was playing football when you were in diapers.
Penny to throw to the outside. Ronnie Brown on the receiving end across the 30 and out of bounds for a Miami first down.
So they had a little back and forth going all week, and now, of course, Derek Mason, he's 10 years older than Channing Crowder. I'm sensing right now that after that touchdown reception, he's feeling some personal sense of satisfaction.
And considerably younger.
And considerably younger. And, well, the guy, let's face it, he doesn't resemble anyone at 36 years old in any shape, manner, or form in the way Derek Mason is still a productive player. He's really defying the age guys.
And he gives to Ronnie Brown. And Brown across the 40 to about the 42. So 2 good plays on offense to start this drive for the Dolphins, who have been badly outgained here in the third quarter.
Well, they really have. They haven't been able to get Brandon Marshall loose. The Ravens are doing a pretty good job of bracketing both not only Marshall, but Devon Bess as well. Hardline's had to step up.
On 2nd and 2, Ronnie Brown looking for the first down, cuts it back, and spins across the 45 for a first down. Now, you'll notice we have not seen the Wildcat formation by the Miami Dolphins, and you won't as long as the Dolphins continue to at least get some decent yardage on the ground.
Well, when you talk to Coach Sperano about it, he said, look, that was our way of getting, at the time, our 2 best playmakers on the field, which were Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. But he said, now that we've got people like Bess and Marshall and Fasano, we don't have to run the Wildcat to get playmakers involved.
Play fake. Kenny throws outside. That's caught by Fasano. Leads a tackler and is out of bounds at about the 45.
And that tackler was Terrell Suggs. Suggs had the coverage, and he's, I'm sure, not happy with himself that he wasn't able to make the play. Again, Chad Henne working through his progression, and that's kind of a wobbler out to Fasano, but Fasano did a nice job of shedding Suggs. Suggs more comfortable rushing the quarterback than he is out in coverage.
We have movement on the offensive line by Jake Long, I believe. That'd be his second of the day.
Number 79, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, he says it's Pat McQuiston.
Well, they want to work Pat McQuiston into the lineup for a couple series. John Jerry, who was out 4 games with an illness, had a virus that caused him to lose a lot of strength, a lot of weight. McQuiston played well in his absence, and Sperano wants to keep McQuiston in the game and give Jerry a little break and let him coach him up a little bit over on the sideline.
So 2nd and 1 turns into 2nd and 6. Straight drop. Kenny under pressure. Going to run for it to about the 47. That'll bring him up about 3 yards shy of a first down.
Boy, Chad Henne almost had that football taken away from him back there. when the Ravens converge on the quarterback, they're going to try to get that football and dislodge it from the quarterback. Suggs coming from the backside, and then you see, oh, look at Chad Henne right there. Redding almost was able to pull that football away. Great arm strength by Chad right here. That's pretty darn good, keeping control of the ball.
3rd and 3. Henne throws outside off the fingertips of Brown.
Again, under pressure. The Ravens able to get in on Chad Henne. Right, he had somebody come in right down by his knees. Can't deliver a better pass than that, though. You can't put it in a more catchable spot than Henne did there for Ronnie Brown.
So 4th and 3. Brandon Fields to kick it away. Ed Reed is deep.
Well, they're going to run a fake. Or at least they're lining up for it.
And they are not going to get the Ravens to jump.
Good discipline on the part of the Ravens defense.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And at this position on the field, Tony Sparano doesn't mind giving up the 5 yards on the delay of game. Actually gives you a better chance of getting a kick inside the 20-yard line. Well, again, though, that was good discipline there by the special teams unit of the Ravens.
Ed Reed still waiting. Ed Reed has scored touchdowns in his career via interceptions, fumble recovery, punt return.
Well, John Perry right there was telling the Dolphins, I know you wanted to run the play, but you substituted. You've got to give the defense a right to substitute as well.
Reed going to return it. And is knocked down at about the 11-yard line. 6:07 to play in the 3rd quarter. Baltimore by 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new Silver Bullet aluminum pint from Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by FedEx. We understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx.
Welcome back to Baltimore, everyone. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf. 20-10. Ravens with the lead and the ball at their own 11-yard line.
And some pressure now on Miami's defense. They've got to keep this within 10 points. Their offense doesn't score that many points.
This is LeRon McClain with running room. Out across the 20 to the 21 and enough for a 1st down. Well, we have a moment Wednesday on Showtime. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth, Warren Sapp come your way on cable's longest running show, the multi-award winning Inside the NFL, every Wednesday on Showtime.
LeRon McClain pretty excited after that run. He has to do the dirty work, the blocking and short yardage running. Nice to get a big one like that that moves the sticks.
Here's Rice. Not much there. Although he pushed forward to about the 25.
How did he come out of that scrum? He was gone. He totally disappeared inside that mass and somehow came out on the other side.
These Ravens have won 6 straight games at home. 10 of their last 12. There's no question they're a strong home team. Guess what? They played 4 of their last 6 regular season games here at home in Baltimore. Flacco running out of time, throws complete. Rice once again, 40, 45. Another 1st down, another big gain by Ray Rice.
Great job by Joe Flacco standing in there as his pocket was collapsing in around him. You know, this is where being 6'6" and 240 is a real help. Standing in there like that. And the guys in front of him kept fighting. And again, Ray Rice, it's like Flacco is magnetically drawn to this guy in a pressure situation. Rice continues to make himself a target, get open, and then make something happen after the catch.
93 receiving yards, 20 on that last one. 1st down at the 46. And around. David Reed, midfield, 45 and out of bounds at about the 40. John Harbaugh told us one day this kid's going to be a star.
He said, mark my words, the rookie from Utah, their 5th-round draft pick this year, he said, just write it down, David Reed. A couple of years from now, you're going to be talking about this guy on a regular basis. He has tremendous speed, good receiving skills. His problem, this is a team full of outstanding receivers. You know, Mason and Bolden and Hushmanzada and Dante Stallworth. Tough to find a little opening.
17 plays at 10 or more yards. This is Rice, and this time he can't spin away from the grasp of Cameron Wake. 3.5 minutes to play in the third.
Again, this Baltimore offense, and that graphic we just showed, that is a boatload of 10-plus yard plays. That is, John Harbaugh's team doesn't normally bang them out like that. Well, isn't this team just a reflection of John Harbaugh? Straightforward, tough-minded, disciplined.
2nd and 10. Short drop, quick pass, picked off. No! In and out of the hands of Sean Smith. And he had 6 in front of him.
Wow. Last year, when he was a rookie, you'd ask Tony Sperano, give me a little nugget on Sean Smith. He goes, he has great ball skills. And when he says great ball skills, what he means is a lot of DBs can't catch. And he says Sean Smith can really catch the ball. Unfortunately, he catches the heck out of it in practice and doesn't do it during games. He has 1 interception his whole career, and that was last week.
3rd and 10. Flacco going to wind up and throw for the end zone. It is overthrown. Pass intended for Bolden.
You know, Greg, that just goes down on the stat sheet as an incomplete pass for Joe Flacco. I'm not talking about this play. I'm talking about the one before. But that's a game changer. I mean, this is, you know, when Tony Sperano talks about, you know, we got to win a game like this. We have to beat a team. Well, that's how you do it.
Those are the plays you've got to make.
You've got to take advantage of that type of opportunity. This would be a 20-17 ball game.
First punt of the day by Baltimore and Sam Cook. And the pass out here is complete. Inside the 20, 30 to 25-yard line to number 29, Kerry Williams, a second-year defensive back.
Well, Jerry Rosburg has been the special teams coordinator of the Ravens for a long time. And, of course, John Harbaugh for years, a special teams coordinator with the Eagles. How's this for courageous when you got a 10-point lead? And again, you work, you get the look you're looking for, and Williams just standing out there all by himself.
And now Miami takes a timeout with 2.5 to play. Let's go back and watch it. All by himself on the near side. Williams pulls it in, and now we've got a little disagreement out in the middle of the field. I'd say things are heating up.
Well, we had guys grabbing at each other. I don't see any flags on the field. We've got training staff out on the field. We've got quite a collection.
Channing Crowder right in the middle of it. 20-10 Baltimore.
Welcome back here, everybody, to Baltimore. Here's Channing Crowder. He's calling a timeout because he knows there's his 11th guy just running out on the field. But he walks all the way into the backfield, and you can see right there that LaRon McClain takes exception to Crowder being on their side of the football, but he called a timeout.
Now Flacco throws. This is Willis McGahee. Shakes a tackle and is bumped out of bounds inside the 25. Let's go back to the fake punt and catch the Miami sideline. They knew something was up, but too late to do anything about it.
Well, take a look there at the very top. You can see over on the sideline, they're yelling. He's running, trying to get a timeout. He realizes that they allowed the gunner for the Ravens to just stand over there all by himself. Devon Bess, a receiver, was actually over there on that side. He's not a defender. He's the wrong guy to try to cover somebody.
At the 24-yard line, 2nd and 8.
this, Steve, as he was coming upfield. He's got the read right there, and when he sees his back stay in to block, he's allowed to just that time become a rusher, and he is able to just put his face mask right into the stomach of Joe Flacco.
Forward progress mark at the 30-yard line. It's 3rd and 15. Flacco throws out here. Hishmanzada dodges a tackle inside the 20, and will be about 2 yards short of the first down.
It looks like the Ravens are sending their field goal unit out. Again, that looked for a moment like it was going to end up being a bigger play than that. He had Todd Heap out in front.
Joe Flacco has done a good job of picking out receivers today.
And he's been under duress a lot. Joe's been sacked. He's been hit.
37-yard field goal attempt by Cundiff. Missed it. Pulled it to the left.
And right now, Tony Sparano looking for any positive thing, and that was one of them. Still just a 10-point ball game. This one never was between the uprights. This was pulled left from the very beginning.
And on the Baltimore sideline, John Harbaugh, I can't believe his eyes.
But I'll say this, John Harbaugh, he's in control of his emotions. Tony Sparano on the other side, he's...
No such thing.
No, he is enthusiastic.
So from the 27-yard line, Kenny to throw on first down, running out of time, now going to run with it. Sliding down at the 29-yard line.
Well, we all know how tough the AFC East is. The Miami Dolphins looking up at the Jets and New England, both of whom right now are trailing in games that are going on here at the same time. Of course, so is Miami.
2nd and 8. Kenny over the middle. That's caught by Marshall. Breaks a tackle and is forward to the 35. And with that, we come to the end of the third quarter. It's 20-10. Baltimore, we're coming back to M&T Bank Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Wolf and our director, Bob Fishman, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, and the rest of our crew. As we start the fourth quarter, we look at some numbers. Baltimore outgaining Miami 151 to 53 yards in the third. Kenny to Marshall. Marshall looks like his forward progress is going to be marked right at the first down marker.
Well, I'll say this, Brandon Marshall didn't run this pattern with anything to spare. If they got a first down on this, which they did, this was a combination of him hitting it right on the mark and getting a good spot. That was a really good spot. My first reaction was I didn't think he had it.
Now first down at their own 37. Kenny to throw again. Throwing down the sideline. It is caught. Penalty marker flies. Brian Hartline made the catch, and let's see what the call is.
Well, that is some piece of work by Brian Hartline coming down with that football.
Pass interference, defense, number 21. That penalty would be declined. Result of the play, 1st and 10, Miami.
The penalty is on Ladarius Webb, and this pass from Chad Henne right on the mark, too.
Oh, no kidding. But there's not a lot of field to work. The stutter and go by, there was the interference by Webb. But even looking back into the sun, Brian Hartline able to make that catch and cleanly.
First down at the Baltimore 29. Play fake to Ricky Williams. Henne going for the end zone to Marshall. They get tangled up and the pass falls incomplete. Brandon Marshall covered by Josh Wilson. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, Brandon Marshall signals for the ball as he's running downfield. Watch this. He's going to wave back to Chad Henne. Yeah, there he goes. I got one-on-one. That's what he's signifying right there. And again, that is not interference. That is just Josh Wilson. Really good coverage. Suggs finishes off Henne at the end of the play. But Brandon Marshall is just waving back there. I got single coverage. Give me a jump ball. Let's see if I can do it.
In the NFL, you're open.
Yep, well, you are if you're Brandon Marshall.
2nd and 10. Henne looks left again. The pass over the middle to Devon Bess. Inside the 25. Still on his feet and down to about the 23 to JB in New York. James.
Hey, Greg and Dan. Coach Cowher said Cleveland would present some tough opposition for New England. They're doing that, and the rookie Colt McCoy. No turnovers in this one. Very prudent in what he's doing. Sees an opportunity to run it. He takes it in for the touchdown. 16-yard run, 24-7. Cleveland over New England. Greg and Dan.
Surprises abound. Sunday afternoons around the National Football League. 3rd and 4.
The Brownies.
Marshall in motion. Henne under pressure and goes down. Haloti Ngata, number 92.
Well, defensive coordinator Greg Madison threw everything at it. Even DeJuan Landry was in there on the blitz. Here they come. You got 4, 5 blocked initially, but Haloti Ngata just too much as he gets around Joe Berger. And that's asking an awful lot of your center to come all the way over, a man removed, and try to control the moving condominium. Haloti Ngata.
Carpenter. Missed it. That breaks a streak of 14 in a row that Carpenter had made. We stay at 20-10 with plenty of time left in the 4th. Dan Carpenter's right leg has been everything to the Miami Dolphins the last few weeks. 5 field goals earned him Special Teams Player of the Week nod in the AFC last week. 5 in the loss to Pittsburgh the week before that. And he had an overtime winner against Green Bay the week before that.
Credit Haloti Ngata for a lot, putting him back in that position with that timely sack on 3rd down.
To throw. Batted up in the air by Kendall Langford, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. Wednesday on Survivor. The men take on the women in a knockdown, drag-out, breakthrough challenge. Don't miss a new Survivor Wednesday only. CBS.
Well, that was the Ravens that time attempting to come back to the right side and set up a screen, and it was set up beautifully. Langford killed it by getting it that bat down.
It's Dante Stallworth.
Great speed here
on the near side of the field. Flacco to throw again. Stepping up. Took a look and pulled it down, and he goes down at about the 37 or 38-yard line. Randy Starks and Alama Francis in on the tackle.
Well, it goes down as a running play, not a sack, because Joe got back to the line of scrimmage and actually crossed it. But again, his pocket disintegrated.
All season long, Baltimore's offensive line has allowed just 1 fourth-quarter sack and 1 overtime sack of Joe Flacco.
You know, Matt Burke's an older guy in the middle. It's a good young group.
3rd and 8 pass over the middle. There's Bolden inside the 45 to the 42-yard line and a 1st down.
And finally, Anquan Bolden gets into the mix. And this is a single cut. Sean Smith has got to pick him up, but you can see he had to reroute himself behind the pattern being run by Todd Heap, and he was not able to get back in where he could become a factor on the play. That's his first reception of the game. And that's, if you'd asked Miami that Bolden wasn't going to get his first catch in the 4th quarter, I bet you they'd have thought they'd be winning the game.
Here's LeRon McClain to about the 38. Clock continues to move. We come up on 11 minutes to play in the fourth quarter.
And this is, again, when you're protecting a lead, having the ability to grind out first downs, burn clock. You're now into Miami territory. This is what good football teams are able to do. This is how games are won.
Baltimore has scored on 4 of 6 drives today. The only 2 they didn't score on. They botched a field goal attempt and they missed one. Wide left. Flacco to throw. Set up the screen. Rice. And Rice is brought down at about the line of scrimmage. Koamisi and Carlos Dansby.
Yeah, you haven't called Koamisi much today, but what a good young player he is. Of course, Carlos Dansby has been around the football all day today. Again, look at him, read the screen, get back in, break down. But Koamisi, number 55, boy, with Cameron Wake on the other side, just a second-year player. Misi, a rookie. Crowder and Dansby in their prime in the middle. Good group.
3rd and 5. Flacco throws far side of the field. Bolden again. And Bolden makes the catch inside the 30. That's a first down.
Well, I guess you can quiet him for 3 quarters, but not for 4. And Baltimore, I think, is in a hurry to run a play here. They'd like to get up and run this. Let's see how cleanly does he get both feet down.
Rice. Running room inside the 25.
That was really close. Anquan Bolden really close as to whether he got both of them down. There's the right one down. The left, look up. Well, the official ruled it. He's right there. I don't think anything there could have possibly warranted it being overturned. Great job by Anquan Bolden getting that foot down and getting it inbounds.
2nd and 4. Rice. Ray Rice is going to sleep well tonight, isn't he?
Well, it's nothing new for him to be the workhorse of this Ravens offense. All 5'8" of him.
You know, we had a conversation with Carlos Dansby yesterday, and his read is that the defense has just been making entirely too many mental mistakes.
Yeah, he said we're still, Mike Nolan's in his first year as their coordinator.
Rice again to the 12.
He said every week, there's just like a half a dozen issues that we're constantly trying to clean up. And then the next week, it's like there's a half a dozen new ones.
Yeah, because the good news is they're not repeating the mistakes, but they keep coming up with new ones.
Yes, that's either way, you're self-destructive.
Rice. Inside the 5 to the 4.
Boy, what a hard hit at the end of that run. Jeremiah Bell and Ray Rice meet head on. And look at right now, look at the Ravens running an up-tempo offense. You'd think they'd be trying to milk the clock. They think they got the Dolphins on the run.
And Rice had lost a yard back to the 5. Crowder and Dansby combining on that stop there as the clock continues to move up on 7:45 to play.
Normally when you're protecting a lead, Bill Cowher back in the studio will tell you, you try to squeeze the air out of the football a little bit by snapping it with 2 seconds left on the play clock. This has been an up-tempo drive here by the Ravens.
Baltimore piling up the plays and the yardage. 12th play of this drive. Flacco rolls. Looks the other way. Throws for Rice inside the 5. And he's lassoed there by number 24, Sean Smith.
Well, you don't find a bigger cornerback in football than Sean Smith. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, and when he's able to get in a position to put a tackle on you, he's going to do it, although he's not the most physical corner in the game. He's just the biggest.
Well, they're going to measure for a first down here, which means they gave him a little bit more forward progress than we thought. I won't include you, Dan, than I thought.
Yeah, I agree, but I think because it's 4th down, they'll give him the benefit of the doubt when you ask for a measurement. If this was 2nd or 3rd down, I bet they wouldn't give it to him. But with 4th coming up. as you can see, it's a good 2 feet short of the first down.
And here comes the field goal unit.
Well, what John Harbaugh is going to do here is say, look, I mean, they're going to have to score 2 touchdowns to take the lead if we successfully make this field goal. And I'm not sure he thinks that that's a probability. Not the way this game has been going so far, and the way his defense has been playing, especially here in the second half.
So this will be about a 20-yard field goal. Good from 26 and 39. They muffed the 38 and they missed the 37-yarder. This 20-yard field goal is good. 6 minutes 45 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Baltimore stretches its lead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects you like Allstate. Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL. And by Acura, the most innovative thinking you'll find in an Acura.
Welcome back to Baltimore, where obviously Veterans Day means the dumbest hat you can find, bring it out and wear it to the stadium.
Obviously it means different things to different people. The old leather helmet. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Well, if ever the Miami Dolphins needed a spark, now is the time. Nolan Carroll will get a chance to run this one back from his own 6. 25. Ooh. And no further. Hit hard by Josh Wilson, who has had himself a game today. Want to remind you, game 2 of our doubleheader here on CBS coming up. The Colts in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Who would have thought Kansas City and Oakland would be as big a game as it is? Check your local listings for the game in your area. Chad Henne and the Dolphins need to make some things happen on offense now. Henne throws far side, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Brandon Marshall. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I mean, this is just the point in the game where the Dolphins, who've made some mistakes, they just can't afford anymore. They just can't afford to have drop balls. They can't afford to have missed blitz pickups. Again, they have had some opportunities, and they just haven't converted.
In the second half, Miami has had a punt, another punt, and then missed a field goal on successive drives. On the slant, picked off, and Reed to the 15, and they finally throw him down.
Why do footballs just fly right into the hands of Ed Reed? Why is, this guy is a ball magnet, and he has been ever since he got here 9 years ago. Again, Brandon Marshall, the ball high to the inside, didn't exactly kill himself to make that catch.
And damn, what is Ed Reed doing on the outside of that play?
Ed Reed, because he's over the top of Brandon Marshall, that's for sure. But Brandon Marshall, I'm not sure about the effort he extended in making that catch.
Down at the 18-yard line now for Flacco and the Ravens. Rice to the 12.
Now that wasn't the greatest pass in the world from Chad Henne. It was high, no question about that. And then Chad Henne's trying to get over and get in on things, and he just gets splattered by Terrell Suggs. He wanted that pass to Marshall to be lower. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. But I think Brandon Marshall would like to have another chance.
Six red zone trips today, a touchdown and 3 field goals. Inside the 10 is Rice.
Well, we talked at halftime about who would make the mistakes in the second half of this game, Greg, and pretty obvious that the mistakes in the second half have been made by the Dolphins. And that last interception by Chad Henne was just the latest in 3 that really come to mind.
Is McClain. And let's see where they mark it. Looks like a first down, first and goal. Well, clear as day. When we talked to Tony Sperano yesterday, he said we have to make Joe Flacco beat us, not Rice and not McGahee. But I think it's pretty safe to say Rice has dominated this game today.
Yeah, he really has. And they just haven't, they just haven't helped themselves. Sometimes you just can't count on the other team handing you something. You've got to carve it out for yourself.
Look at the yardage Baltimore has chalked up here in the second half. First and goal. Rice. Dragged down at the 10 by Cameron Wake.
Boy, there's a lot to like about that guy. Down by 13, and he's still getting it done. And I think he shows you right there, he's more than just an edge pass rusher.
Rice gets a breather. Willis McGahee into the backfield. Continues to move up on 3.5 minutes to play.
Well, we mentioned earlier that this is what good football teams do. You can call it squeezing the air out of the football, possessing it, denying your opponents an opportunity to get back into it. But that's what John Harbaugh's club has done here in the fourth quarter. They have ground out first downs, they have moved the sticks, and they have moved the clock.
Dan, Baltimore is about to run its 70th play of the day.
That, in an NFL game, that is insane.
McGahee twists his way down to the 1.
Well, this has been a very physical football game. Let's look at the right side of our screen here. Oh, you see Marshall Yanda come in there, put on a good trap block on Channing Crowder. Jared Gaither, the really good tackle for Baltimore, is on injured reserve. They move a guard out to right tackle, Marshall Yanda, and he ends up playing great football.
Well, we're going to get a timeout here as the play clock winds down. And they didn't call timeout. It's a delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That's a little strange with three timeouts.
Well, they're going to, but they're going to be content to just kick a field goal, and they'll have more than a 2-touchdown lead. Here are the mistakes I talked about. Sean Smith has an opportunity there. Carpenter misses his first field goal in a long time. And then this interception by Ed Reed. And 3 critical errors in the second half. And again, it was 20-10 when Sean Smith had an opportunity. To me, it looked like he'd have sailed right in. That would have been a 20-17 ball game. And who knows what might have happened after that.
So this is Cundiff from 24 yards out. And it's good. 4th field goal of the day for Cundiff.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Honda Odyssey, like no van before. And by Subway. Subway has you covered with $5 footlong subs morning, noon, and night. Subway. Eat fresh.
2:07 to play here in Baltimore. and the Ravens in charge.
Well, by kicking that field goal, the Ravens are saying, well, if you can get 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions, we'll play some overtime.
Carroll deep. And we'll run this one from his own 1-yard line. Brought down at about the 24.
Got a flag thrown in here late.
Here's John Perry.
During the return, holding number 40, the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10, Miami.
Jonathan Amaya, the rookie out of Nevada. And we'll have one play run before we get our 2-minute warning. Ray Lewis and company on defense. Done a pretty decent job today. And John Harbaugh on himself a couple of smiles for the first time all day.
Well, he is a special teams coach at heart, and he really loves it when they perform. And, of course, you know, good coverage forces people to hold.
Henny. Throw incomplete to Brown out of the backfield, and Brown out of bounds across the 15-yard line. And at minute 53 mark, we get our 2-minute warning. 26-10, Baltimore in the lead, and looking to stay perfect here at home. A Baltimore defense that last time out allowed 514 yards to the Buffalo Bills has allowed 253 today. Henny throws, complete, Fasano, far side, out of bounds at the 29-yard line with 1:47 to play.
And the Ravens, of course, will be more than happy to give Miami as many of those little 3- and 4- and 5-yard out patterns as they would like to run.
The 26, and it looks like he covered it up.
And for the second time today, a mishandled snap between Joe Berger and Chad Henne. They had one very early on in the game that Henne had to cover up himself.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Henne looks left, comes back over the middle. Incomplete. Fasano in and out of his hands. And the Dolphins have had a few drops here today.
Yes, they have. Offensively and defensively. You know, Tony Sparano told us, you know, they had the 3 home losses to the Jets, New England, and Pittsburgh, and here they are on the road. What did he tell us? We've got to win one of these games if we want to prove that we're on that level.
For a first down. Next week, Miami home to meet the Tennessee Titans. Whether Randy Moss will be a member of that team or not remains to be seen.
Well, he's supposed to be.
And Baltimore will play at Atlanta this coming Thursday night.
Yeah, it is a short week for the Ravens, having to play on a Sunday afternoon and then get it together to actually go on the road. You know, that is a real short week.
Henny to Ryan Brown, and Brown just across midfield to the 49. 1 minute to play. And we get a timeout on the field as Miami uses its second timeout. A reminder, tonight on CBS, a Chicago Cubs boss goes undercover at baseball's legendary Wrigley Field. An all-new undercover boss tonight, only CBS.
look at what's happening around the league for you fantasy folks out there. Brett Favre, a lot of yards, but when you have more interceptions than touchdowns, not good. Phillip Rivers, another huge day. Peyton Hillis, this guy's going crazy. 181 yards. Percy Harvin. Nice to see him and being able to overcome some injury issues.
2nd and 7. Kenny looks back, throws down the sideline, and throws it away. 52 seconds to play.
You know, there were some people in Miami that were critical of the Dolphins not putting in a claim for Randy Moss. We asked Coach Sperano about it. You got the impression in a hurry, didn't you, Greg, that was never seriously considered?
Next question.
Yeah. Not sure that you want to expose a young quarterback like Chad Henne to the inconsistent play of late and inconsistent behavior of Randy Moss.
How about like Vince Young?
Yeah, well,
that'll be an interesting test.
But that was Jeff Fisher's decision, and we'll see how it plays out.
Kenny over the middle, incomplete. Fasano, the intended receiver, and Haruki Nakamura making the defensive play as the Dolphins, with a 4th and 7 now, looking at their first road loss of this season, and their record falling to 4-4.
And they'll have to look to Tennessee next week to look forward to maybe their first win at home for the season. You know, if this one's out the window, maybe they can correct the situation of not being able to win at home.
4th and 7. And here they come. Henne got rid of it. And that one is incomplete inside the 40-yard line, and the ball will go over to Baltimore on downs.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 92. Leading with the crown of the helmet. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Haloti Ngata.
Ngata is going to be coming in, obviously, from your left-hand side. Henne gets away, steps up. And they're saying that he hit with the crown of his helmet instead of the face mask. In other words, he used the top of his helmet as a weapon. You know, the quarterback in that situation, he's regarded the same as a defenseless receiver. If you hit him with your face mask, that's different than hitting him with the top or the crown of your helmet.
Henne steps up, throws, and this one is picked off at the 21-yard line by Josh Wilson. 4th-year corner out of Maryland, and what a day he has had today.
Well, he's been playing in place of Fabian Washington, and he has been playing very well. Josh Wilson has acquitted himself, sitting right back in there. It's almost like he anticipated this route. Best wasn't able to come back to the football. It looks like Devon Best, he should have been able to drive a yard or two back for that ball, but it was to the inside, and Wilson made the play on it. Again, Henne should have thrown that ball more to the outside. The unfortunate thing for the Dolphins is they're looking at having played the four best teams that they faced this year have all beaten them. And when you want to make a step to that next level, Greg, you got to beat the guys that are above you, and the Dolphins so far have shown an inability to do so.
Tony Sperano and his Dolphins will go home on the short end of a 26-10 score as the final seconds wind down here, and the Baltimore Ravens, you know, when you start talking about the best teams in the NFL, Ravens want to be counted right up there.
Well, they've been in that mix since before the season even started. A lot of people picked them to actually represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, and you know, now it's 6-2. They're certainly looking in a prime position.
Final score from Baltimore, 26-10. The Ravens move to 6-2 on the year. Coming up, the Burger King update will take you to New York for all the scores and highlights right after this.